Hello guys, welcome to Review Central. Today, as you can tell, we will be reviewing the DJI Phantom 3. I have the standard version, and in the box it comes with the aircraft itself, one intelligent flight battery. It comes with 8 props, 8 white props. It comes with the controller, the charger, a camera cleaning cloth, and a prop bag. And it also comes with a gimbal protector and lens cap. Okay, it also has a 3-axis gimbal, and in the camera itself comes an 8 GB mini SD card. Now, these props I bought separately because these are carbon fiber, so they are a bit stronger, and I also really like how it goes along with the white of the Phantom itself. Also in the box comes a quick start guide, a safety and disclaimer, and information on the batteries. Now, the controller is a simple 6-channel controller. It has, over here is the flight modes switch. So you have positioning mode, so GPS, ADI mode, which is no GPS, and multiple flight modes that you set up in the app. And over on this side, you have return to home function. All you have to do is flick that a couple times and it will automatically come back to where it took off from. And on the back here is how you control the gimbal up and down, and also shows you the battery life. I also got an extra battery, and each one of these lasts up to 25 minutes, 30 minutes if you are lucky and fly nice. This also tells you the battery percentage. And to turn on the battery, you have to click the button once and then press and hold, and that will power on the unit. And it is the same to turn it off. Press once and press and hold. I also bought some prop guards. These are quick snap-on. As you can see, that is what this is for. This is not standard with it. You have to add these on yourself. All that takes is 4 screws. And to put them on, you simply just pop it in, and it will not come out until you press in these little prongs that pops them out. I only use these for when I'm letting another person fly or I am flying indoors, which I don't do often, because when you're using these and you want the camera to be level, these get into the field of view, which is not nice. Now, on the controller, it has a phone clamp to hold your device. So you'd put your device in sideways like there, and it will clamp on so that you can see live feed of what the drone sees. One good thing about these, they are intelligent flight batteries. It is a LiPo battery, and the nice thing about these is it balances while it's charging all by itself, so you don't have to have a special balance charger. It comes with a charger out of the box, and you just have to hook on this to the battery and then plug it into the wall, and when the lights go out on the battery, then it is charged. Alright, now in the app, this is where you control the camera. You can mess with all the settings for picture, for video. This can record 2.7K at 30 frames per second and at 24. It can do 1080p at 30 frames per second or 24, or it can do 720p at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, 48 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. In the pictures, you can...
home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Okay, it acquired GPS, which is weird considering that I am in my basement. See, now as you flip the switch, it will go into GPS mode, ADI mode, or function mode. It is what it's called, but it is for multiple flight modes, which I will show in a minute. So now, in the app itself, you have all these different colors that you can do for the camera, so that affects how it views. I personally like Vivid the best, because it really brings out the color in everything. So now, in here, you can set the exposure wherever you want just by tapping on the screen. And if you hit the X, it will auto exposure. So it also has the auto takeoff function and auto land. And you can also, in here, view any video or photos that you took. I have a few in here, because I have had this for, I want to say, 10 months now, and I really enjoy it. At the top of the screen over here, it shows you the aircraft's battery percentage. It will show how much signal strength that you have, how much video strength you have, because this you have to connect your device to the Wi-Fi on the Phantom that I can show you. Okay. So you have to set it to the Phantom's Wi-Fi. Also at the top it will give status updates. That is telling me that it's currently in attitude mode. This over here tells you how many satellites that you're connected to, and this tells you the flight mode. That bar, the green bar at the top tells you how much flight time that you have. And once it gets down to a certain battery percentage, it will automatically return to the home point and land. I believe I have that set to 20%. And over here, you can select the shutter speed from auto. Like, you can have it in auto, or you can switch to manual, so you can control everything. I like to just keep it in auto for ease. And in here, you can change all of the settings. This is the general settings. Come on, focus. Here. And over here you have the aircraft settings. So return to home altitude 60 meters, so it clears any trees. And here, this is the multiple flight modes that I was talking about. In here, you flip this switch all the way down, and you will be able to access intelligent flight modes. Now, these are the flight restrictions. It has a beginner mode, which the aircraft can only fly within a 30-foot diameter of the home point, or 30 meters, I'm sorry. And it also limits the rates that you have, so it will go much slower. And it has a maximum altitude. Legally, you only are allowed to fly 400 feet, so I have it at 120 meters, which is 390 something feet. You can set a distance limit from the home point, and so those are the actual aircraft settings. This, you have your remote control settings, so you can change your stick modes. You can calibrate the controller, and you can link up the controller. In here you have the network Wi-Fi settings. Over in here you have, it is a 4-cell battery, so it tells you each individual cell, how much voltage it has, the operating temperature, the overall voltage, remaining power, the total power, and how many times you have charged the batteries. The batteries keep track of all of that. Obviously I have no flight time right now on this battery because it's sitting on the table. And you can go under advanced settings, which you can, these batteries, if you leave them sit so long, they will start to discharge, so they do not ruin the batteries. I have it set to do it over a course of 10 days. And the final tab is your gimbal settings. You can do FPV mode or follow mode. FPV mode turns off the stabilization so that you will experience how the drone tilts and everything, which is good for like beginner FPV flyers, for which can lead to racing quads and race FPV. This you can control how fast the gimbal will tilt. You can do the tilt limit, the stop and start buffer, and you can adjust the gimbal roll. So if it's not perfectly level, or you want to change up how you are seeing everything, you can change that. And that about does it for the app. See, and the multiple flight modes is considered P-ADI. So, and that in here, you have a normal mode, which is normal flight. You can do point of interest, where you will hover over a point and then you tap a button on the side that will appear, and it will, then you put a distance, like you go a distance away, and it will do a circle around it, keeping the camera pointed at that specific spot. You have the follow me mode, which will follow the device. For that mode, you need to have the device's location turned on. You have waypoints. For those, you will have to fly through. You'll have to fly a certain path, and when as you're flying through that path, you will tap buttons to add waypoints, and then once you are done, you will be able to. You'll have to set a return to home height, and then it will go to the first waypoint, and you will press start, and it will fly through all the waypoints. And while that is happening, you can control the elevation and the yaw. That is nice if you are filming things that you want to film multiple times for multiple takes, so then you don't have to keep flying over and over again. You can do home lock, which basically is a headless mode. That is the term I like to use, because it doesn't matter which way the quad is facing. You pull back on the stick, it will come towards the home point. So even if it is facing you, normally forward would be forward would come towards us. Now backwards will come straight towards us, and forward will always be going away, and same with left and right. Then the final one is course lock. Now, course lock will keep it going in a straight line. I have not used that function, but I guess it would be useful for some people who drift left and right while they're flying, and you just are trying to follow a straight path. And then at the bottom, you can enter beginner mode. That about sums up the app. Now, the quad itself it is fairly expensive, but it's nowhere near as expensive as the Phantom 3 Professional or Advanced or the Phantom 4. I believe this was around $800, $900. But then when we bought everything else for it, the total added up to around $1,000. This can go as a max vertical speed of 5 meters per second, and it has a minimum descent speed, a maximum descent speed of 3 meters per second. So it does take some time to come down from, say, 400 feet, but it is worth it so that it does not crash very hard if you don't release the stick. And this also has a throttle hold, so like you can be going up and then all you have to do is release the stick and it will then hover at the same height that you stopped that at. And the gimbal, like I said before, is 3-axis. So the gimbal's purpose is to keep the video footage, clean and still, not shaky. You can control it using, like I said before, using the controller. That will go move the camera up and down. And it also has these, which reduces any impact that it has, and it also further stabilizes the footage in windy situations. And it has them on all 4 corners. Now, on the front, it has a, I believe, micro USB port, and that you can use to plug into your computer and update the GPS inside of it, which is very nice for if you have had this for a few years. Then you can constantly update the GPS to the latest software. And on the motors itself, it has, if you're worried about putting the props on wrong, it does not allow you to do that because they are threaded. They're threaded differently for counter and regular clockwise rotation. And it's also labeled, this is a silver tip and this is black, and that corresponds to the tips on the props, silver and black. So the silver does not go, it cannot go on the, no matter what way I turn it, it will just lift off. But if I put the silver on the silver, it will go on and not come off. And these are self-tightening props, so when you are flying, it will not loosen, so the props will not come flying off, which is bad. And these just spin on and off like that. And also in the package does come one of these, which helps you take the props off if you have them too tight. So you put that around the motor, and say you have a prop on. This helps so that you can grab the motor and then the motor will not turn while you're loosening your prop, which is very nice if you cannot get the prop off. And that about sums up the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and at the end of the video I will be putting some footage that I captured with this over the last few months. And please subscribe and like the video, and I will see you next time.